Welcome to the New Podcast, episode number 33. My name is Steven, joined as always by producer extraordinaire and co-host with the most, my man, Kelly. Let's get to it. Huge week of fight news. Even huger card went down. UFC going down in Brazil. What a shocker. Did not disappoint, as most Brazilian cards live up to the moniker of being amazing, and this one did just exactly that. Even Bellator was really good. I am excited for everything. Even PFL went down during the week too. Touch base a little bit on that as well. Super excited about the amount of fights we had and the amount of news, man. It's just coming through like crazy. What a time to be a fight fan. Am I right, Kelly?
Loving it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. All the announcements. This is what we said before. You know, the summer announcements is odd, but as a fight fan, I don't care. I'm loving it. I'm loving it right now. Speaking of which, nothing but announcements of matchups this week. It is going to go down for the fourth time. Diego Costa versus Yoel Romero, UFC 241 going down. Does it go down, Kelly? Number 4. Fourth time they've tried to get these guys to fight each other, and something has happened every single time. Costa only serving 6 months for that for his failed piss test. Come up against Yoel Romero. Battle of the juicers. I don't know. I'm going to err on the side of caution. I'm going to say this fight still doesn't happen. We have to wait again. Those two dudes are just too volatile. Injuries, age, and then obviously the piss test. You know what I mean? Two dudes who failed it. We'll find out. Either way, let's see the Twitter war. Let's see the weigh-ins. You know what I mean? That's where the money is going to be made by these two dudes. There's actual hate between these dudes, and I absolutely love it.
Who do you think takes it?
Oh man, it's hard to. Yeah, I think it's hard. It's almost impossible to bet against Yoel Romero unless the guy is Robert Whittaker.
Yeah.
Even then, you know what I mean. He can't. You know, the other fight was very close.
Yeah. I agree.
Against Robert Whittaker. So tough.
I think if Robert wasn't the champ, it could have gone the other way.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you on that. But you know, you got to give the guy the champion's benefit of the doubt. And I think that's what you got to do. You got to really take that belt from him, and I agree with that. Yeah. But you know, I mean, I like Diego Costa, but he's now been on the shelf for quite some time now too, with injuries and his failed piss test. Even though it was only 6 months, still, all his time has added up. And holding out for the Yoel Romero fight, it's starting to add up. And will that ring rust affect a younger guy as it usually does? The older guys usually do better with the ring rust. It works for them having more of a layoff so they can recover better and prepare better. But maybe for the younger guys it doesn't, and we could see that here with when that goes down at UFC 241. One fight announcement that I thought was a little bit odd was my man Gilbert El Nino Melendez takes on Arnold Allen. Do you know who that is, Kelly? Nor do I.
No idea.
I know Gil's been on a bit of a skid recently. You know, we gotta remember Gilbert Melendez started at like when he was 19. And coming out of the Cesar Gracie Jiu-Jitsu camp out of Stockton, you know, you're going to fight some tough dudes all the time, you know, with Jake Shields and the Diaz brothers, obviously. A great camp to come out of, but maybe did that shorten his career a little bit, trading blows with those dudes on a regular basis. But I guess giving him this guy, you know, and then they're giving out an up and coming young star in Arnold Allen, but I gotta be honest, I have no clue who the hell this guy is. So I looked him up. And he's let's break it down though. 6 degrees of separation. Arnold Almighty Allen. He's 25 years old. He's fighting out of England. He's UK, but he's actually fighting out of TriStar Gym. So he's a Brit that's training in Canada. good place to be for the 145ers. We do see a lot of guys go up to that training camp actually. But let's just see who the hell he's even fought. And that's what's crazy. Shit, I pushed the wrong button here. That's what's crazy about him is that he has like 6 UFC fights. It must be all these undercard fights, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's see here. Okay, so he's fought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fights. And really no one stands out. Jordan Rinaldi is kind of a good fighter. Mads Burnell he beat by guillotine. And then he goes a split decision against Makwan Amirkhani. And goes a decision against Yotsi Meza. And then beats Alan Omar. A plethora of nobodies this guy has fought. You know what I mean? He must have been on like the prelims every single card.
It sounded like you were like just reading out like names from a classroom, like an attendance. So I have no idea who any of these guys are.
Makwar Amirkhani here. Alan Omar here. It's like, okay, good, because no one knew who the fuck you were.
Who?
We got some new students to class today, children. Please say hello to Yotsin Metza. Especially at 145. I guess that's just how showing how deep 145 is for this dude to have fought in that many times. And he's undefeated in the UFC, which is huge. And that's what the UFC wants to see, obviously, is if you do get those stepping stones that you do beat them. And, the split decision would be the only thing that would be maybe a bit of a question mark for me. Going to be a tough. I've never seen this dude. Got no tape on him at all. I have no clue what Gilbert Melendez is going to be going up against. But this is his next stepping stone. Gilbert Melendez hasn't really looked that good in the UFC. He has not had a very good run. But like I said, it was later in his career when he came to the UFC. It does have effect. I think maybe the sport passed him by, and we see that with a lot of dudes, especially, oddly enough, it's kind of like it's happened, Kelly, to like the West Coast dudes, the Californian dudes, because, maybe because mixed martial arts, it's really where it kind of got its start. So, like, did these dudes, they get so set in their ways from early mixed martial arts that, the sport has evolved past them, even though they kind of made it. Same thing as Uriah Faber. He's an all-American wrestler type dude who got it big on the West Coast. And I think more or less the reason why I like Gilbert Melendez so much is because he made such a big name in Japan. And I've always just loved the Japanese cards they've had. Let's break it down, going down the rabbit hole. Gilbert El Nino Melendez, breaking it down, 6 degrees of separation. Yeah, 4 losses in a row. You know what I mean? He's lucky to even still be in the UFC with that. And like I said, he's one of my favorite fighters of all time. 22-7. Before those, he kind of really had only lost to decent dudes. Losing to Jeremy Stevens, losing to Edson Barbosa, losing to Eddie Alvarez, and then getting choked out by Anthony Pettis, of all dudes. I think that was the only time he'd been submitted or finished, I think. Let's see. Oh, no, he got TKO'd. Oh, no, he won that one. No, yeah, he was never finished before that guillotine. So, one tough dude. And, still only really losing by decisions, beating Diego Sanchez, though, at least to kind of mix it in there, then losing to Benson Henderson in a close one. Then, had his Strikeforce. He's only has 1 win in the UFC. Like, that is one fucking hell of a stat to have. And it was against Diego Sanchez, where I honestly thought he could have actually lost that fight against Diego Sanchez, where Diego really poured on in the 3rd round. I'll never forget that. That was a one hell of a war. So it's, he could honestly have never won a UFC fight. That's just such a weird ass stat for a dude who's so accomplished as Gilbert Melendez. Nutty.
Him and BJ Penn should have a dual retirement fight.
Huh? That's not a bad idea. Actually, that would be a good fight. Yeah, loser has to retire.
Yeah,
they do that in wrestling all the time.
BJ's gonna win the belt again, so.
Yeah, he's totally gonna win the belt. I know that was like the worst statement to come out with, and especially with how bad he looked. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, what? Maybe he is on blow. Maybe because only a moron could go into that fight feeling that way he honestly felt, to lose as badly as he did to Clay Guida. Not taking anything against Clay Guida. You know what I mean? Guida. But you gotta know going in, hey man, I don't think I have the strength to put up with this guy, and I don't know what the hell it is, but it's sad. It's really sad now. It's super depressing. It was depressing last fight, but now it's really depressing. Really depressing. Arnold Allen. Let's see what this guy does. That one goes down at UFC 239. So that card is gonna be mega stacked again. Moving right along here. One dude who has been very vocal recently on Twitter is Khabib, coming out saying he wants to fight 3 more times in the next 11 months. So he wants to fight 3 times, basically from here to next, to April of next year, basically. I say that more power to him, but I was thinking who those 3 opponents should be, and I think he's got to go. Number 1, Poirier. Easy slam dunk, number 1. Number 2, Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
For the rubber match. And it seems to be the only fight Conor McGregor wants right now. Number 3, though, GSP. George St. Pierre. There is rumors quietly swirling around right now that if that fight is still on the table, that GSP could come back for it. Just because Khabib wants it so bad. Yeah. But I don't think Khabib garners that money without the second Conor McGregor fight. You know what I mean? It may be good money for GSP. It may be money GSP versus Khabib would be good money for Khabib. But I think George St. Pierre is actually the one who's going to need that step up of the Conor McGregor money to even think about coming back and fighting anybody. But that's the rumor that's rolling around right now, that we could see that one, and I think it could work for the timeline for George St. Pierre. I know he's doing a ton of fasting. If you follow him on Facebook, he does all these fasts. He's all about the fasting now, and he was on a no liquid fast, no water. You know what I mean? Holy shit, that's craziness. You know what I mean? But he's looking more fit than he has ever looked his entire life.
Could you imagine the first 3-time weight class belt holder in the UFC, the champ?
And you go down as he already is, the first ballot Hall of Famer easily. You know what I mean? But that would make him go down as the best fighter of all time. Kind of like the Jean-Claude Van Damme from Bloodsport. You know what I mean?
Couldn't have a better representative for Canada.
Do you? Big time. He's very humble. He was perfect representative of mixed martial arts. He was bullied, so he took karate to defend himself. You know what I mean? Perfect example. East Coast Canadians are a lot different than West Coast Canadians. I'll tell you that. If you're American and listen to the show, it's like East Coast. Your East Coast to our West Coast is a lot different. But Quebec is a totally different country of itself. No one's, most people speak French there, and if you speak English, they're like, "Pia." They hate you. Anglaise. Not a better. Can you think of any out of those 3 fights for Khabib? Can you think of one that you think that I didn't mention that you think we would like to see?
No, man, that's the perfect lineup. Especially if he could fight that in that order.
Yeah, exactly.
Winning, yeah.
Exactly. I think I don't know. I don't. It's just tough to see Poirier. Poirier's good on the ground, but he's definitely. I don't think wrestling is his base. You know what I mean? And I think Conor is obviously Conor McGregor is going to be another easy win because Conor McGregor will be older and more coked up, and then GSP I think actually gives him, even an old GSP, I think actually gives him the biggest run for his money at that, at that division, because apparently GSP can get down to 155 right now, and that'd be fucking insane if he could.
I worry about him because older fighters at older fighters at lighter weight classes tend to have more issues.
Big time. Oh yeah, big time. You need that marrow thickness. You know what I mean? That little bit of bone density that you lose no matter what. You know what I mean? As you get older. You saw it with Anderson Silva, obviously. That bone density, once it starts to go, it's just not the same. The muscle doesn't connect to the bone the same, and your bones just aren't as strong.
Yeah.
You're really feeling your bones, as they say. You get rattled a lot easier. Everything hurts more, obviously.
The speed starts to go.
Yeah, exactly. But I think when it comes to wrestling, I think GSP poses a good threat.
Yeah.
Moving right along, folks. Another huge announcement, obviously, probably the biggest out of the list I have today, is going down UFC 238. Donald Cowboy Cerrone takes on the man, El Cucuy, Tony Ferguson. I'm super excited for that fight, man. Wow, doodle. That's gonna be an awesome fight, man. I cannot wait for that fight. For those dudes to go at it. I almost feel sorry for Cerrone because this is once again he's not getting the exact. Everyone gets to leapfrog and goes to that title shot. Once again, Cowboy has to face the toughest test on the road to that title, and it couldn't have been more tougher than Tony Ferguson. I gotta go 100%. Ferguson's gonna win this one here. Maybe his head not in the right space. With all his crazy shit that's been going on with him. But he's just so dominant, and he's just a bigger, faster, tougher Donald Cerrone, really, in a way. Where his ground game's good, his stand-up's better, and what gets him is killer instinct. And I think the number one is that the fans are gonna be super regaled by this one. Mark your calendars, UFC 238 going down with probably one of the biggest fights of the year, really. Who do you think, in your mind, Kelly? Who do you pick on that one? Who do you got?
I think Tony Ferguson is definitely not definitely. I think he's gonna pull it off. Obviously, Cerrone has a chance of winning too. I think he's probably gonna go for Cerrone's kidneys and liver shots, stuff like that, because he's kind of been prone to collapsing from those kind of shots.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, good call.
And for Tony's really good at just lining those shots over and over and over.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Great call, man. Absolutely. He's been so good at knocking out dudes with body shots. And that's one thing that only breaks really with Cowboy. You know what I mean? He hasn't really been, he's been knocked out cold a few times, you know what I mean? But I think more times with how much fights we've seen of him, he's been winded a few times. He's really been hit hard in the body. And I think it's just when he's that tough, when his head is that tough, I think that's where you got to go. And maybe at 155, he's a little leaner than what he's been at 170 recently. So maybe that helps him out too. He doesn't have the extra fat to really protect that liver shot. Can't be more excited, though, if I have to pick one fight to watch this summer. And I couldn't watch any one other fight. It would be a toss-up between that and Cormier versus Miocic. But I would have a hard choice. I would definitely be a hard choice. Another huge announcement going down at 145 is the man on the Natural Born Killers list, Zabit Magomedsharipov, takes on Brian Ortega. That's another huge matchup. You know what I mean? Once again, weird they're lining these guys up hugely for the summer. Very odd move, but hey, as a fight fan, I'm going to watch. And I'm super excited for that one, too. I can't wait for when that one goes down. You know what I mean? I got to ask you, Kelly, you know what I mean? With the tape we've seen on Zabit against very, very game Brian Ortega, who do you think takes that one?
Oh, man. I think after suffering that title shot loss, I think Brian Ortega comes back better than ever.
Wow.
I think he beats him. I think it takes the win.
Wow. I think it's going to be the make or break time for him, obviously, does he got the cojones to win, because he's probably got one of his toughest challenges at 145 here. In Zabit, you know what I mean? But he's got such a good skill set with his stand-up and also his grappling. He's going to have his hands full, and I think it could be a quick submission. I think that's what Ortega's going to have to rely on, because maybe his stand-up game got a little bit exposed against Holloway. You know what I mean? He's got good stand-up, but I think he's not at that world-class stand-up, or he's got UFC stand-up, you know what I mean? More of a mixed martial arts stand-up skill, and those dudes tend to get eaten up. When the heck is this one going down? I didn't write down I didn't write down which I want. Oh, it's coming down this summer. I can tell you. I didn't write down when that one's coming out, but should be a really good matchup. And then obviously at 170, going down at UFC 241, Nate Diaz versus Anthony Showtime Pettis. What a huge matchup that is. How they got Nate to come back, I have no fucking clue. You know what I mean? How much money do you think they threw at him, Kelly? Like, do you think they lowballed him and he just caved, or do you think they actually threw a lot of money at him?
I think they gave him $500,000.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Wow, that's almost a slap in the face to him, though. But I think he's really not worth that much more. You know what I mean? And we'll find out when the pay goes down.
Brian Ortega versus the beat is 240.
Oh, 240. Oh, cool. So right in between. Wow, man, we got one stacked summer here. 238's huge. 240's huge. 241's got a ton of fights on it already. You know what I mean? This is we're in for the summer of hunkering your ass down and watching some fighting.
They probably gave Nate $500,000 plus pay-per-view percentage.
Okay. I could see that. But joke's on him. Everyone goes to ESPN Plus now. I'm gonna say 750,000. I'm gonna say they settled on that. I'm gonna say he asked for $1 million.
Yeah.
And he asked for $2 million. They countered with 500, and then they settled on 750. I'm gonna go with that. That's what I'm gonna.
I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that. But I think you're right. I think 500,000 is much more reasonable for him. But who wins that one? Like, what a weird matchup, kind of, to do this fight now. Nate Diaz has been away from the ring for a while. Then to basically get, with Anthony Pettis, with his last huge win, you know what I mean, to really put him in the position really, is this a contendership bout at 170? You know what I mean? It's kind of weird. 170 is kind of a weird division right now. And here we have two dudes kind of almost vying for the next belt, really, if not a number one contendership bout after this, if it isn't a number one contendership bout in itself. But I gotta go. It's just a tough call. I gotta go with man, this is one of the most 50-50 ones ever. Which Anthony Pettis shows up and which Nate Diaz shows up, really.
Yeah, like, it's been so long since Nate has fought.
Exactly.
Like, who knows what he looks like right now? Some fighters just get old overnight.
Exactly. I guess I got to go Anthony Pettis, really. Just from sheer facts. Exactly, just from sheer facts. But he's not young either. But we'll find out here. Going down at UFC 241. Who do you think takes that one?
Yeah, I think just because Anthony's been fighting and he's been on kind of a roll right now, that he probably takes it.
Yeah, I think his more of his punches and bunches, I think will definitely add up. Whoever throws the most punches and lands the most punches will win the fight. Mark my words. That's obviously right.
But I think Diaz is still gonna show up with the cardio like he always does.
That's for sure.
So
Maybe in the later rounds that plays a huge part in it. And I guess we'll see. I don't think they could have that fight as the main event if it's like a. Yeah, maybe they do. Maybe they do have that as the main event. Yeah, I could see it.
I think Nate's a main eventer.
Yeah, me too. I totally think so, yeah. I'm surprised he didn't post anything on Facebook about it, though, really, you know what I mean? So I thought that was kind of a little odd. He's just kind of been posting just his normal shit, going to concerts and throwback photos and shit like that.
He probably wants them to pay him extra to use his social media.
Wow. He's like, nah, social media clause, bro.
It's not in a contract. You want me to tweet about it? That's another $250,000
per every hashtag. Oh shit! One thing I thought was odd coming down the track here was Daniel Cormier coming out now saying, maybe I still want John Jones. You know what I mean? I don't know if I can retire without that last John Jones fight. You know what I mean? But I gotta ask you, Kelly, like, you know what I mean? Does this put him to sleep, or does this make his nightmare? You know what I mean? Does this put all those demons to rest, or does it only create this black hole of doubt and deceit that will always be in the back of his mind till the end of time, losing that fight too. But to lose, if you go in and lose the third time, what does that do to him, man? What does that do to him, man?
I think if he retires without the fight, he can sleep easy knowing that John Jones Bones won with steroids in his system.
Yeah.
If he takes this fight, he's gonna lose, and I think exactly what you said, man. He's gonna have nightmares that night, wishing he didn't take the fight. It's gonna, man. It's gonna be the topper to his career, getting knocked out for the third time, probably in the heavyweight division by John Jones Bones.
They did say it's gonna be 205. They said it's gonna be 205, but still, he's saying, I want to do it. I want to go on his terms. I want to. Yeah. If I would do on heavyweight, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night, type thing. You know what I mean? So
yeah, because to lose to John at both weight classes, lose both belts to him, that'd be rough. I could see that at 205. I still think he's gonna lose. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, no, but I'm the same way. Don't do it. Daniel Cormier, I know you're listening to the show. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. Oh, man, but I guess he's just too proud. He's just too proud of a dude to not back down.
I wouldn't give John Jones Bones that. You know what I mean? That satisfaction.
Yeah.
Exactly,
yeah.
From him.
Exactly, yeah. Good call, man. Exactly. You know what I mean? He cheated and really only had one win, and then that second one definitely doesn't count in my books.
No, just let him suffer with that for the rest of his life.
Could you imagine too if they did fight and he did fail his piss test? Like, wow.
Oh man, after knocking out DC again.
Wow, that'd be rough.
That's a possibility, man.
Well,
this guy's reckless.
He keeps failing for these trace amounts, so you know what I mean. They're just allowing it to happen. So you know what I mean.
He just gives him another name every time.
Exactly. He just has trace amounts of this. It's totally normal. But no one else has trace amounts, oddly enough. So, yeah.
This is part of his DNA now.
Yeah, exactly. He's allowed to. If you rat out 10 fighters, you get to have this amount of PhDs in your system. PEDs. You PhDs. You can be doctor. You can be a doctor. Did you see this Ben Askren went into I was surprised the UFC let him do it too. It was did you see that? It was like a wrestling tournament, kind of a American freestyle wrestling showcase, you know what I mean, just to kind of promote freestyle wrestling of like college sports needs promoting at all. But this dude Jordan Burroughs comes out and straight up manhandles him.
It looks like if a father stopped playing, going easy on his kid.
He straight prison raped him, man.
Yeah, man.
It was a beat down and a half. If you haven't seen the video, check it out. Right off the bat, too, this guy is not fucking around. That's what I really like about this guy. Right off the bat, he's not fucking around at all. And he just bull rushes him right off the stage. And he's like, fuck, I thought, what a power move. And from there on, it was just a straight beat down. What a flexible, super strong, super fast wrestler, man. This dude is a beast. I would love to see him come over to MMA. He actually won the gold medal in wrestling, no doubt, in the Olympics too. He's just so powerful. I've never seen somebody just double leg people with ease at that. What those double leg takedowns he's doing, he makes them look easy. That's the hardest thing to do in wrestling against another like 5-star professional freestyle wrestler too, to power bomb and just pick up dudes like that like nothing. That is just absolutely insane. And the way he goes from transitions, you know what I mean? It's just absolutely amazing. And man, did he ever manhandle Ben Askren. I'd love to see him come over to MMA. If anything, we'll maybe see him in Bellator. That's usually what happens to these young upstart wrestlers. Like Ed Ruth is one of them. There was another dude who didn't do too well, but there's no way that this guy couldn't be a great MMA fighter, just how strong his wrestling is. Absolutely amazing video. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's fucking insane. Round off the fight announcements, but I think with one of the probably best ones actually here. I don't know if you. Oh yeah, I think you heard this, Kelly. Artem Lobov will take on Paulie Malignaggi. So I'm fucking in the bare knuckle fighting federation or fighting championship or whatever the fuck it is. It goes down in Tampa, June 22nd. It's also got Chris Lieben on the card again. There was another big name on it as well, so I can't remember what the heck it was, but man, bare knuckle fighting championship really getting the shit done here. I'm actually excited for that fight. Once again, they're making me interested, and I was really kind of against this whole thing. I don't have anything against boxing or bare knuckle boxing. Like, it was like, it's the humanity of the people. Oh, the blood. I don't really care about that. I just, I'm just not really a boxing fan to begin with. So I didn't really. I love kickboxing, but I wasn't the biggest fan of it because it was boxing. But it actually is very enjoyable, and they put on some pretty good cards. Even if they're using their whatever, use what you got and use former UFC fighters. It's what works. Go for it. But it's actually Johnny Bedford versus Reggie Barnett, and then Chris Lieben versus Brendan Ward. That's who it is. Yeah, that's who it is. Crazy. So it's actually a pretty stacked card. But like I said, all obviously having UFC and UFC on there is going to help you. But I'm sure there's actually going to probably be other cards, and other good fighters on that card, and I'm sure it'll actually be another good show. Kelly and I will be tuning in. Little bit of wrestling news before we get to reviewing the reviewers here. I think the biggest news, obviously, just going down, with the exception of the power couple, the man and the architect are now a power couple. The WWE Super Showdown going down in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, June 7th. It's going to be huge, Kelly. Going down Saudi Arabia again. Another 50-man Royal Rumble. So, I'm going to be watching it no matter what. And get this, Kelly. Goldberg takes on The Undertaker.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And Randy Orton's going to take on Triple H, which should actually be pretty good, too. And obviously everyone else will be involved somehow. Brock Lesnar will be there as well. This is obviously the main reason why he signed with WWE, because they're throwing money. They've thrown so much money for all these wrestlers to be here. It is absolutely insane. To have Goldberg come back, just Goldberg. He retired, he came back, won the belt, had his little run. He's like, okay, I'm good. I'm done, guys. I got my redemption. I could look myself in the mirror and said, hey, I gave it a good shot. I still have it in me to be able to. He wasn't bad in ring. I'll give him that. He actually cut good promos too. He actually did really good. For him to come back. A lot of people hate the Goldberg return. I don't really care. It doesn't really bother me. I like Goldberg. I have nothing against him. I'm not like clamoring they have to have Goldberg all the time, but I don't have anything against Goldberg. I know it'll be short term. I'm just not the hugest fan of The Undertaker, but I think it's a match that makes sense for both of those guys at this point in their career, especially since they had never wrestled each other before. It's even bigger for that. So I'm so excited to see who the other announcements are going to be. It's coming down so quickly. That's less than a month away for them to announce such a mega card like this one. Just logistically, to have all those fighters, flown, from wherever they were fighting, wrestling at the time to Saudi Arabia has got to be one hell of an undertaking. Pardon the pun. But I'm actually super excited. I'm actually super, super excited for that card. Maybe you should come over to my place, Kelly, and watch it. It's kind of long though. It's gonna be probably a 5 or 6 hour show.
Oh. That's crazy.
Pack your diapers, because you can't use my bathroom. Oh, shit.
I think I'm gonna pass.
In that case, of course you can use my bathroom. Do whatever you like in there. Anything. Oh, shit. Let's get to it. Back by popular demand, reviewing the reviewers, Burger King edition. Let's do it, man. Burger King. I was thinking about what place. We've done a few now, and it's always been super, super easy. Let's see what other easy one we can do. And Burger King, easy spot. I really love Burger King. That's what I'll say. I absolutely love Burger King. I love. I just caught the beginning of a review. I like Whopper Wednesday. Can't go wrong with it. It's like every other fast food place though. The service is gonna be fucking terrible. So let's pick the closest one to us. Where is this one here? Okay, I know exactly where this one is, and 3.6 stars. So I think we're in for some good reviews here. This one's a little lower. People of Burger King don't really care that much. Of all the places, this one only has 347 reviews, 3.6 stars. Lots of 1 stars here. But let's like I don't know why this person starts off their review with parentheses, like a parentheses, like they're setting the mood for us here, Kelly. Setting the mood. So JP, he reviewed it 2 days ago. Wow, just recently. He has got 43 reviews, this guy. No other customers. All in parentheses. Ordered a cheeseburger at 11:30 a.m. Waited till 11:45 a.m. to ask what's happening with the burger. No, you should have a comma here. Said it would take 5 more mins. I asked him again. It's actually EM. I asked him. I should be doing this in a redneck voice. I asked him again after 10 minutes and said, "Oh, you didn't get it?" And then orders it again. I don't think that's the proper emoji. Do you see? It's kind of like a smirky emoji.
Yeah, smirk.
I don't think that's the right emoji to use. Then when I finally get it, if they overloaded it with mustard, the party was cold and there was no freaking cheese in my cheeseburger. Cheese is all capitals. Most ridiculous fast food service ever. And not even apologizing or anything for making someone wait so long. Wow, this person, they really did it here. They were quite upset. Who the hell is gonna wait a half hour for a burger though?
No, man, I just like, can I get my money back?
I know. Who the hell's gonna wait a half hour for a burger? Give me a fucking break, man. You know what I mean? That's bullshit. Because he waits from 11:30 to 11:45. That's 15 minutes, and then waits another 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's 20 minutes. Then waits another 10 minutes. That's 30 minutes. You're going to wait 30 minutes for a fucking burger. They're playing you, buddy. This guy must be like a pest or something to them or something like that, but 30 minutes for a burger at Burger King. Bullshit. He maybe waited 5 minutes, and he was like, why isn't it instantly here? That's what they do at Wendy's. It's here before I even give you the money. So for you, JP, I give you 5 stars in idiocy. 5-star idiot. Total moron. Who's going to wait 30 minutes for a burger? Just give me a break. And especially with no one in there, as he put in.
Yeah, like he's just standing there and everyone's ignoring him. Just kind of like looking at him. It's like, I'm sure he got his burger.
Exactly. He never ordered the burger.
Doesn't make sense.
Oh boy, here's one. This one makes sense, but you know what I mean. This one, I'm just gonna. Man, this is so easy. This is. I can do this all fucking. I gotta have a whole show of this. This is just so easy. This is the second one. This is so good here. 2 stars by SJ. A week ago. I always go here whenever in the area with my mom and sister. And when we were at Burger King on Thursday, we ended up getting food poisoning. My mom and sister were very sick, throwing up 3 straight days. Very disappointed. We will not be coming back to any Burger King or this location anytime soon, if ever. What?
So 2 out of 3 of them?
I know. Yeah, I think they all got sick. They all got sick, but they were for 3 days straight, no doubt. The only thing that we had all ordered was your fries. So I'm thinking that was the reason for us being sick. That is so weird. You would think it'd be from a burger or a chicken burger. Fries.
Food poisoning from fries.
That shit is deep fried. Nothing lives in that deep fryer.
That's so weird.
Another person that is fucking on glue. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? This bitch smoked a bunch of crack before going in there, and they're trying to say they got sick from the fries. Bullshit. But I digress here. Let's continue here. When I had called this location to speak to someone, they didn't even seem to care at all or be concerned about other customers. What does that have to do with anything? That's kind of weird. That's kind of weird to say. Do not come here unless you want to end up being sick! Exclamation point. But they still gave him 2 stars. They got super sick. They got super sick for 3 days. Good. All they got was fries from Burger King, oddly enough. That's just weird on its own. But you're still going to give them 2 stars.
It was just that good, man.
Still gonna give them 2 stars. It makes no fucking sense at all. 0 cents. 0 cents. These people. All right, let's go with one. It's just so stupid. Some people. Now that one's a bit too. This guy here is just saying it's Burger King. I like it. This location is very reliable. Straight and to the point. Someone else here. Oh my god, this person giving it. I love people always giving suggestions on the location. Listen, this person here is awesome. AW wrote, "It was a decent location for where it is. With all the traffic for drive-through, you only would think they'd have a bigger one, or at least some more spots for parking. But it is a busy location. Anyways." Well, the drive-thru was full, so I decided to go in. It seems like a nice location, but for the staff, there seems to be they were very busy for the drive-thru. I waited the same time I would have waited if I went through the drive-thru. I looked through the window and saw the car in front of me. If I was in line being served, this guy is not he's not. It's not the best. And he made a quote, like he made a parenthesis on the one, but he didn't finish off his parenthesis. Idiot.
He's rambling.
Anyways, here he goes. Anyways again. This is how you start off every goddamn sentence. What the hell's wrong with this guy? Anyways, the food was good. The baked apple pie was hot. And I burned my mouth. Oh, yeah, definite idiot. But the fries were a little cold, so it cooled his mouth down. I think that's what he's getting at. ... He puts a ... there. I burned my mouth on the pie. The fries were cold, so it cooled my mouth off. No, he didn't say that, but still.
Oh, man.
Other than that, it was a regular Burger King experience. He gave him 4 stars. He gave him 4 stars for cold fries. Anyways.
What was the point of that review?
Oh, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, one more. Yeah, what time we got? Yeah, one more, and then we'll move on here. One more. This is just too good. That guy really took the cake. I love this. When it comes to reviewing the reviewers, this guy is a rare person because he's only got one review, and it's this one. This is his only review he's ever done, and it's obviously a 1-star. He was so upset, and this is actually a decent story. Okay, let's read this. KM writes 4 months ago, 1 star. Like I said, it's only review. So this guy was exceptionally pissed. I work nights. Have gone there for a Whopper in the morning a few times. Today I went in at 8 a.m. and stood at the front counter for 6 or 7 minutes. Not 6 to 7, 6 or 7. He's not sure. And no one came to the counter despite me shouting, "Hello!" a dozen times. Hello? I could hear them laughing and goofing around in the back, though, so I got in my car and went through the drive-thru. Finally, someone acknowledged me. I asked for a Whopper combo, and she said we only do breakfast. I told her I've gotten a Whopper in the morning here many times, and she said I must have the location mixed up. So she basically brushed me off and was being too lazy to make a meal for me. Terrible staff on that shift. I won't return because of it. Wow. Very upset. KM.
But he wants a Whopper meal.
That's how mad he was. Like I said, that's how mad he was. I was expecting a little bit. Like I said, I don't look into this beforehand. It just makes it more for the ambiance of it to be even more surprise to me. You know what I mean? I don't want to rehearse it because that seems a bit cheap for this show. I was expecting a little bit more out of KM for being that mad. He's obviously wants his Whopper in the morning. He wants that Whopper for breakfast. But I'm going to give him 1 star. 1 star. Like I said, didn't wow me. You're gonna really gripe about this? Them goofing off? I doubt it was empty at 8 a.m. at Burger King. That's the only thing I'm not seeing. I highly doubt that happened, bud. Let's be realistic here. Let's be realistic. Moving on, though. Moving on. I guess what time we got? Yeah, let's might as well take a quick little breather here. We will be right back. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back after these messages. Sick and tired of all those forest fires in your area? Too much smoke clogging up the sky? Burning down your houses? I sure wish there was some relief to these fires. Rain! It comes sometimes, but usually not in the summer when those forest fires need it most. Do a rain dance today, folks. And let the rain come down. Rain, try it today. Drink water every day. Be sure to get your fill. Fish live in it. They would die without it. Oceans are filled with it, but do not, under any circumstances, drink salt water. That's for the fish. Wouldn't it be great if our cars could be powered on water? Think about it, folks. Water everywhere. With gas prices the way they are these days, focus on water-powered cars. Brought to you by the water company. There's nothing we can't do. Frozen, slushy, steam, hot, and my personal favorite, ice cold water.
Get on that, Elon.
And welcome back, folks. Hope you enjoyed our messages. And go grab yourself a tall, cold glass of water on the house. Huge weekend and week there of fights did we have with PFL going down. Briefly want to get to that one. Actually, it was a pretty stacked card for their opener for this season here with Kayla Harrison obviously winning against Larissa Pachenko. UFC cast off. She's a tough girl, but she's lost her last 2 UFC fights, but she was up against very, very tough competition. I remember we were looking it up a few shows back when she had, I think she was actually on the show, I believe, too, or something like that. I believe she was on The Ultimate Fighter. But obviously Harrison with her toughest test, but she goes to decision. That's a good stepping stone for her to have that bit of a step up for, they're really putting a lot behind Kayla Harrison, and maybe the lights are getting a little bit too bright for her, and she had a bit of a stumble, but still looked good. She was dominant, and it was a good win. But still, I just had expect her just to decimate Larissa like she had done the other women she had fought before. Magomed Karamov, very good original name there, beats another UFC guy, John Howard, by guillotine choke. I like how they do a point system. So if you get like a finish, you get a certain amount of points. You know what I mean? So I think if you get a finish in the first round, you get like 6 points or something like that, right? So I guess the guy who's got the most points at the end go for the championship bout against the other guy, and away they go. Ray Cooper wins. Getting also a finish, a rear naked choke. But one of the cooler fight, and I didn't know she was actually on this card. Sarah Kaufman, local favorite here. She's from the island. She actually wins, and first round finish too. Good for her. Beats Morgan Freer by arm triangle choke and skyrockets to first place in the women's division, which is crazy because she got the finish. What was the other one on this one too? I think that was it. Yeah, it wasn't a bad card though. I caught the highlights of it. I honestly didn't watch it, but it actually wasn't a bad card. Pretty good event by PFL. I was kind of hating on it earlier, you know what I mean? But they actually put on good shows now. Let's talk Bellator 221. Michael Chandler takes on Pitbull Patricky. Did you watch any of this one, Kelly?
Just highlight.
Yeah, it was actually really, really good. The same with me as well. Just the highlights as well. It's damn DAZN. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Damn DAZN. Be on TV or something. Come on here, folks. Let's break it down here. Obviously, good fight for Jack Swagger. Jake Hager, he gets another win against a total super can this time. And hold on to the choke, but you know what I mean? A lot of people are hating on it. He didn't hold on to it for too long. Like he didn't like Paul Harris him and really hurt him. He did hold on to it. I'll say that. Like he did hold on, but I think he was kind of sending a message because this dude was talking a lot of trash, and I think maybe that's kind of what he had said afterwards, that he was, he was upset with the trash talk, that maybe some of the shit that TJ Jones was saying had crossed the line. For two dudes trying to make a paycheck, obviously TJ Jones is just doing what he's got to do, but I think you really, the way he got manhandled, if you're going to come out and make this dude mad, you better have the chops to be able to hang with him, because he got the shit kicked out of him. And Jack Swagger beating up another dude. It was a total can, but still destroyed him in 2 minutes 36 seconds. He's doing what cans is what he should do. Jobbers in wrestling. He's just jobbing these dudes out. AJ McKean beats Pat Curran by decision. Haven't been the biggest AJ McKean fan recently. He's kind of putting on these slower fights. He's a good fighter. I'm not taking anything away from him, but he's just like his dad. Very boring fighter. Very boring fighter, unfortunately. But the fight that I thought was the biggest, man, Douglas Lima dethroning MVP. I know, Kelly, you hate MVP, so you know what I mean. For him to go down, it was the first challenge for him with Douglas Lima, man. But that punch, that was just such a connecting punch. That was crazy, you know what I mean? Like, I had to watch the replay like a bunch of times.
Yeah, so did I.
Just for him to be able to clip him with that, and then it looked like nothing, but no, he really whacked him right on the chin. Yeah. MVP was being too cocky and throwing his chin out there against a dude like Douglas Lima. You just can't do that. This guy's one of the most seasoned vets, if not the most seasoned vet of Bellator from day one, basically. You know what I mean? I always liked him because he fought in MFC too. That was the Edmonton organization. Yeah. That was around for a while. That was a really cool organization. I really enjoyed that those fights a lot. And he was their champ as well at 170 before moving over to Bellator. But
Lima was saying I don't want to put words in his mouth. To me, it sounded like he was felt disrespected by 50 Cent because he was talking about how, he kind of gave him the bottle of champagne, whatever, and they immediately went over to Michael Page and started talking to him. And, he felt like he just wanted Michael to win and didn't really care or whatever.
Oh, he's got to pick favorites. I can imagine he's going to pick favorites, and you know what I mean. They probably obviously were buddies too, and but I hear you saying if you're going to be like a president or some kind of promoter or some kind of money man in this company, I think you got to give Diego Lima the respect he deserves just because of that. You know what I mean? Because he has been the 170 guy through his ups and his downs. The Ben Askren era wasn't good for him.
Yeah.
Ben Askren just manhandled him every time. You know what I mean? It obviously wasn't a very good time for him, but he was a younger fighter at the time too. And here we see him, really rolling the dice to be on the top of the mountain once again. Can he eventually run into or avoid a Rory McDonald? Maybe a mentally broken Rory McDonald. Can he avoid that and maybe fight somebody else that's a bit more favorable to his style to get that crown in the Bellator tournament? I think now the heat has been turned up on that tournament with this win, obviously. And the world proved that MVP may have been a bit too much talk, and maybe he got one too many cans. One fight that, I liked Michael Venom Page. I actually liked him. But one fight that I thought was a bullshit fight was Mike Rickles, or Dave Rickles, I think is his name. Let's break it down here. MVP. Where is it here? Dave Rickles. He fought. I think it was in the UK too. But the thing is, Dave Rickles fights at 145. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's his normal weight class, is 145. And here he's fighting MVP at 170. You know what I mean? So that's the fight that I was like, why is he fighting this guy? I was like, this is the dumbest fight I have ever seen. Is this little 145-pound white dude against this huge 170 striking maestro. And I thought this is a bad matchup by Bellator to even make that card up. You know what I mean? So that's the point when I started hearing the haters. I heard what they were saying, that this guy is a paper champ. He hasn't fought anybody relevant. And I thought, this is a perfect example of that. MVP. You know what I mean? How does he react to it though? How does he react? I think is what's going to make his medal. Does he just go on a slump and never make it to where he was before, or does he become stronger because of this? We'll find out. That takes us to the main event of the evening: Patricio Pitbull versus Michael Iron Chandler. Iron Michael Chandler. Did you catch that one too? Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, that was because it was so quick. Obviously, yeah, it was since it was so quick. Good fight, you know what I mean? What do you think? What do you think, though, Kelly? Obviously, it's just so quick, you know what I mean? Good stand-up by Pitbull. He went toe-to-toe with Michael Chandler, and Michael Chandler couldn't stand toe-to-toe with him, but that's why he's called Pitbull, because he went in biting first, swinging, and he challenged Michael Chandler to do so, and he couldn't match. What do you think, though, Kelly? Do you think it was an early stoppage, or do you think it was a rightful stoppage?
I think it's a good stoppage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to go with the ref on this one.
I think so, too. A lot of people are not liking the stoppage. I think it's one of those things, I totally agree with you. I think it's one of those things where it's the ref made the right choice on, the fighter wasn't in such a bad position. The only thing he was going to do was eat more shots, too. And I think it's almost one of those things where the dude, he got knocked out, and then he got knocked awake again. You know what I mean? So he got knocked out, falls face first. The ref kind of jumps in, and then he gets smashed again, and he knocked awake. He's like, I was never out. You know what I mean? I don't think he realized he was actually knocked out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's just what it is, right?
Pitbull has quite a few fights now too.
Yeah, tons,
33.
man. And he's been another same thing. These Brazilians, they just that's the one thing they can got going for them is they get to go out and really kind of make a name because they are a Brazilian fighter, so they're more sought after free agents. You know what I mean? And I think these are two dudes here in Douglas Lima and Patricio Pitbull as guys who really made the most of their moment. Yeah, he has a lot of Bellator fights. It's basically all Bellator. His first Bellator fight, I'm still going here, was in 2010. So he's almost been fighting in Bellator for 10 years.
So there must be kids that just grew up on Bellator and don't watch UFC, hey?
I don't know. I don't know strictly Bellator. Like they're like so driven. Like that's my brand is Bellator. I'll never.
Well, maybe they just don't have time for other sports. Like they started watching Bellator, and they just kind of followed it and followed the fighters, and just don't have time for like all the other stuff.
I could see that. There's got to be some people out there.
Or they're super hipster. Like,
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm picturing. Yeah, that's what I'm picturing. There's got to be people out there. There's odder things. There's way weirder things out there. There has to be a person out there who's just a strictly Bellator fan. I could totally see it. They bought the video game. That's how much they liked Bellator so much.
10 years is a long time, man. Like, you think about it, if you start watching it when you're like 18, there's some 28-year-old guy out there who's been watching Bellator.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
A long time.
Yeah, exactly. Because it was out there. Even I think it was out maybe before. No, I think it was probably out right around that time. I couldn't imagine it being much earlier than that. Than 2010 was when Bellator debuted.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So long.
Like it's too many to count. Honestly, I would have to prepare for this one here. That's a lot of counting to do. All Bellator fights.
Feels like we just had Strikeforce.
Yeah, exactly. Time flies, man. Strikeforce is such a long time ago. But yeah, just so many wins. Only losses really to the toughest of tough that Bellator. Even Benson Henderson, he came. Oh, he got a leg injury against Benson Henderson. I remember that. Totally forgot about that. Daniel Strauss that was only decision. He had a little good back and forth with Pat Curran, I think. Yeah, he did fight. He lost to Pat Curran and then beat him. Joe Warren. Oh, he went to split decision with Joe Warren. But just the names, everywhere, all the Bellator toughest dudes. That's what they always had. Daniel Strauss and Pat Curran were such good fighters too, especially to have in that division, and they fought him a bunch of times. Huh. And on a 4-0 fight win streak right now. That's crazy. Haskell's off to Patricio Pitbull. All right, let's break it down. UFC 237.
For that Pitbull versus Holloway, who takes it?
Ooh, I think it's Holloway handily though. He's just so much bigger. Like I couldn't imagine the size up.
Yeah, that's true.
Fuck, I don't know. That's why he's in Bellator. I bet you probably just never got the UFC could probably just never match him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess at least Bellator knew that their strength on that. UFC 237, great card. They've had a few stinkers recently, and at least we got to see an awesome card with this one. The undercard was really good. It was quite stacked too. Obviously the terrible showing of BJ Penn losing to Clay Guida. That was a rough one to watch. I turned it off on that one. Honestly, that was rough to watch. But Warley Alves just destroying Sergio Moraes, knocking him out. It was just a beatdown. I can't believe the beatdown that Moraes took. It was nuts. Ryan Spann, huge win. I always like that fight too, Kelly. You know what I'm talking about? It's like the main event of the undercard. You know what I mean? And I don't think there's been another dude that has been in more of those than Little Nog. I swear, he's always like at the Affliction event we went to, he was totally that. He was like the headline of the undercard against Vladimir Matyushenko.
Yeah.
So it's just like, what a moniker to have. Like, you're the main event of the undercard. You know what I mean? But he's done it 100 times, but he gets knocked right the fuck out. Looking into the lights was unfortunately Little Nog. Ryan Spann showing a huge knockout. Did you catch that one, Kelly?
I didn't.
Yeah. Oh man, knocked him right the fuck out. Like, kind of just like punched him, like, and then like totally uppercut and like dummied him. Like, he was like totally out. I think it's time for, unfortunately, for Antonio Rogerio Nogueira to really pack him up here. You know what I mean? Great fighter. He's had a great long storied career, but I think it's about time. Actually, the one fight that kind of surprised me was Irene Aldana versus Betch Correa. It was actually a really good fight, and especially that last second armbar. That was actually kind of crazy. I actually enjoyed that. They actually had a really good back and forth. It wasn't too bad. They weren't really letting up, but like we were talking about, that was one of those fights where if Irene hadn't gone and got that awesome like arm triangle, triangle armbar type move, it was kind of up in the air of who was going to win that fight. You know what I mean? I think there was a huge amount of evidence for Bet Korea to actually have won that fight. So this was kind of a crazy way they have done that one. That's just nuts. Even the Thiago Alves fight wasn't bad too against Loreno Starpoli. It was a good fight. That one wasn't bad at all. It was a good decision, but I think the Volkanovski beatdown, I didn't see that coming against Jose Aldo. Kelly, what did you see him? I think that dominant of a performance where Volkanovski, he wasn't putting on a flashy fight, but like I had said, that's how he's going to have to win this one, is by holding him against the fence, and that's exactly what he did. He totally nullified all those attack, and he wasn't being boring. He was really throwing some heavy knees to the thigh. It was still boring to watch, but it was a beatdown. It was a smotherfest beatdown, and Volkanovski with the biggest win of his career. He was an underdog too. I couldn't believe it. It wasn't a terrible fight. What do you think, Kelly? Did you think it was like a snoozer, or you know what I mean?
No, it was a good fight. It's sad to see Aldo lose again. He's one of my favorite fighters. Like all these guys like BJ Penn, Aldo. Like all these guys looking older, Gilbert Melendez.
Yeah.
They should almost start like what would you call it? Like a Legends League.
Retirement league. Yeah.
Just like the UFC could do it on the side.
That's
another promotion.
That's a messed up stat, man, because even look at it here, like it's all like young up and comers except for Clay Guida.
Yeah.
And against like all these like legend dudes, Anderson Silva was like one of the best 185s of all time, held the belt forever. Same with Jose Aldo, was one of the best 145-pound fighters, hold the belt for a long time. Thiago Alves was a title contender. He had that. He fought for the belt at least.
UFC 100.
Yeah, exactly.
GSP.
Yeah. Even Bet Korea, she fought for the belt too. And Little Nogs, he was the Pride like interim champ, and it's always I don't know if he's ever fought for the UFC belt. I don't think he has. Yeah, I highly doubt that. But still, he's still exactly that. He's on the undercard. You know what I mean? And then BJ Penn obviously also on the undercards. What a changing of the guard show, and for that to happen in Brazil, that's just nutty, eerie, almost. And they all lost. But Cannonier gets another huge win for 185. That's a big win. If you beat Anderson Silva, you get skyrocketed basically into like the top 5, top 10 at least. He was winning up to that point. He was kind of beating him up. It wasn't a terrible. I think Anderson Silva maybe was doing a little bit more than we normally see. Maybe he is actually showing some aggression, but another untimely injury to Anderson Silva here with that kick right to the knee. It looks like he could have shattered his knee or something. It looked nasty, and it was right in there. And like we were talking about before, man, a little bit older, doesn't bounce back as fast. You know what I mean?
Give the man a huge retirement package, man. He helped build the UFC.
Yeah, big time.
He shouldn't be fighting still.
No,
just give him the money.
Exactly. I hope he made like at least 500,000 too.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, but good win for Jared Cannonier. You know what I mean? It's sad to see Anderson Silva go too. You know what I mean? We're just such at that age. It's tough to find these heroes we had out of our time. You know what I mean? These dudes who are local legends and champions of their own divisions, and then to come over and bring a different style. That's what mixed martial arts is all about. Different styles, which makes it interesting. Everyone was these American MMA former freestyling wrestling guys. It'd be pretty fucking boring. You know what I mean? Even though it's a very effective way to fight in mixed martial arts combat, you know what I mean, within the rules of mixed martial arts, it's pretty boring shit, right? So you want to see these flashier dudes, and that's what Brazil brought, flair, right? But man, main event, that was nuts. That's what I love about Rose. Is she's a stand on your feet finisher. Her fights are great fights, and unfortunately, she was on the receiving end of that, and she was just putting on such a good stand-up clinic. Man, was she ever tagging Jessica Andrade? just too much, and Andrade. That's what I was saying though in the beginning, because she was not backing down. She wasn't going away from the plan of this this just straight balls to the wall attack. And she did get 2 takedowns in the first round too. But obviously you could tell her face was beat the fuck up. Her face was super beat up from taking all those shots. But for someone to come through all that and never give up, like her fighting style has been since day one, with this charging advance, and then to have that slam ability power is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And we see one of the craziest finish. We have not seen a slam KO like that in a very long time. She just posterized Rose Namajunas, the unbeatable champ who beat the other unbeatable champ, gets slammed right on her fucking head, and that's why this is a fight. And the best dog won. Unfortunately, Rose Namajunas loses, but she was talking a lot of shit afterwards too, like that she's gonna retire. You know what I mean? That it really hurt her badly. I think that fucked her up. And there's all this talk about should slams like that be illegal. You know what I mean?
I think she'll be back.
Oh yeah, she'll be back.
Will give her enough money.
She'll be back. She's such a amazing champ and an amazing fighter. The UFC better throw a ton of money at her. Super exciting every time Rose Namajunas fights now. I'm definitely going, and this is another example here because she's got to get the rematch at least. You know what I mean? Maybe if you lose the rematch, then maybe do it. We'll see.
They say the slam was legal because she was trying to hold a submission while she got slammed. If she wasn't trying to hold a submission and she just got dumped on the back of her head, it would have been an illegal slam, I guess.
Huh. Still, I think Rose was maybe being a bit careless with that. You know what I mean? She would have had to have known like where she was in space and time at that moment. You know what I mean? She would have had to have known, oh shit, I'm gonna get slammed on my head here. You know what I mean? And not to kind of like let go or brace yourself or something like that. You know what I mean? So
it's amazing she only had 12 fights. Like the experience to where she is. It's crazy. Like, and that might have been it. Like experience. Like she never had that experience. She's just getting slammed before.
Big time, and that's what fighting's all about. Exactly, absolutely. She had no counter for the slam, you know what I mean? But still, I think you had to have, you know what I mean? It would have been tough to have seen it coming. Obviously, we're all the armchair warriors here, you know what I mean? Watching from, idiot, you know what I mean? You should have done this, of course. You know, exactly. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're obviously in a fight, and you know, maybe it caught her off guard. Maybe that's what it is too. And there's split second. You know what I mean? Oh, shit, she's lifting me up. Oh, bam! Slam me right on my head, right? But to be able to slam, going back and back for the slam, my hat goes off to Jessica Andrade, man. That was amazing. What a fight. What a way to, you know, win the night and in her hometown of Brazil, take the win like that. It was a good card. It was very sad to see Rose lose, but it was a great card. I know, I'm not... I was very like disgusted when people were like, it should be illegal. This is fucking an MMA fight.
Yeah, it should be illegal because your person lost. That's what you think.
Well, it was because she didn't look good. You know what I mean? She got her neck cranked. She got dropped like right on her fucking head. You know what I mean? But that's fighting.
I mean, exactly. It's a fight. Things are gonna happen.
Exactly. You know what I mean? It's just as bad getting kicked or punched in the head. Just much of the same, right?
Kicked in the ribs.
Yeah, exactly. Don't take away the slam. Save the slam. Save the slam. Save the slam. Shit. Oh, fuck. All right, buddy. You playing any new video games this weekend?
Nope.
I just played more of I don't want to finish Far Cry too fast. So I've been doing some side missions. Fun. Still an amazing game.
Yeah, I just been playing Apex.
Nice.
Love Apex.
Good game. I just had such a hard time finding time to play. You know what I mean? These days.
I have a hard time finding like a team that plays like a team. Like it's a team game. But a lot of people just play like it's solo. Like I need the best weapons. I need to survive. I don't care about
my buddies got my back.
Yeah, or if like we all start rushing someone or like another team.
Yeah.
All of a sudden someone will just start like hanging back and like just kind of hiding, and it's like so like I'll get knocked down, the other guy will like get knocked down, and the guy would just hide. And it's like, do you think you're gonna win the game alone, but you can't win with your teammates?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It doesn't make sense. So it's like, yeah, just having a hard time finding good teams,
reliable people,
teams that play, team players, basically. Yeah.
That's life, ain't it? That's life.
Yeah. Be a team player.
Be a team player.
Whenever I find like a team that works together, I always make it to like the top 3.
Nice.
Like no problem.
Yeah.
But it's when one guy starts running halfway across the map looking for all the loot. That's when we start dying because we're just chasing him the whole time.
I think that's what I've learned about the game. You kind of gotta roll the dice too and get what you get sometimes, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what separates the men from the boys. Am I right?
I've even dropped weapons because I've known some people are better with those certain weapons.
For sure.
So I'd rather just I'm really good with G6. They are like the is this a G6? G7 Scout, whatever it is.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, good gun. Good gun.
I'm really good with that. All headshots.
Nice. No, it's a good gun. I like it too. It's one I choose when I play too.
Yeah.
I hear you. Good game. But it's just kind of still taking off even. You know what I mean? People are still loving it. People are still playing it. It's just such a well put together game, you know, with the physics and the dynamic that it brings to the table.
They need to add more legends soon. They keep saying.
Oh, really?
Soon, coming soon, but it's never there.
Oh yeah, didn't they already kind of release there was going to be a whole bunch of them coming out?
Yeah, they released one so
yeah,
far.
exactly. Yeah. That's weird that they haven't done more. Maybe they're doing like a season bullshit, I guess.
Yeah.
Release a new guy every season, I guess. Not a bad strategy to go with. Not a bad strategy to go with. All right, buddy. That's about perfect time. Let's about wrap her up here. Well then, folks, for producer and co-host extraordinaire Kelly, my name is Steven, and you have been listening to the New Podcast. Signing off.